All right, so we're gonna review the McNett Tactical repair kit that comes in this bag. And depending on how you're using this is a pretty cool bag to contain everything, but it's not very useful in a survival situation. So a lot of people will just opt to take everything out of the bag, put it in a Ziploc bag, and then get rid of this thing. So that's a very good idea if you're worried about weight. Now getting into the contents, you have a wide variety of good stuff here. First, we've got a couple of wipes to prepare the surface of anything that we're going to add some of these chemicals to increase the ability of the stuff to stick to it. And so what we've got is it's called Tenacious Tape. So we actually have two pieces here. They're stuck together, and it's really good for maybe patching up a tarp or something like that. You could use duct tape as well, depending on what the sort of situation is. Another thing you have is a little bitty section of netting. So if you have a mosquito net or bug net and you want it to look kind of good and you don't want to ruin some of the functionality, you can cut out a piece of this and then sew it in to repair that hole. Of course, duct tape would fix that too. It just wouldn't look the best. You got a couple zip ties, so 2 4-inch long and 2 2-inch long zip ties. And we also have some seam grip that's kind of good at as a very good glue. So say the sole of your boot comes apart, you can glue it back on. You can repair some gaps or holes in your tarp if you need it to stick together. So a lot of different uses there. We've got some paracord depending on what you need, and a lot of us for our bug out bags or other survival kits will actually have plenty of this already, but it's always good to have a little bitty section left just in case you need to use it. So we've got 2 buttons here, and then we also got a bunch of different buckles to fix some strap problems that might come up. You also get a little bitty roll of duct tape. It is a tan color, and you can actually buy these individually for cheap. So if you need a couple more, feel free to go grab some to kind of add it to your kit. You also get a little tube guide, and in there you get 2 safety pins, 2 threading needles, and some thread for all sorts of different repairs. So that's kind of the overall kit. It's very basic. It's 15 to 20 bucks, and a lot of you folks, you'll have some of these items laying around and you're like, hey, I can put that together a lot cheaper. That's a really good idea. Just throw kind of a general collection of stuff together if you have access to it. For me, I didn't have all these materials laying around, so it was kind of a convenience fee, 15 to 20 bucks. You get it all in one kit. It can save you some time. But if you do have the items, put together your own kit. It works just as good. And speaking of which, it does come with a little guide here that is kind of handy. It gives you some instructions for different repairs, different things that might be happening. And also they give you a list of contents. And I would note that there's a note somewhere down in here that says that not all kits will have each of these items. Apparently mine was missing a few, but it sounds like maybe they've changed the kit up over the years. So specifically mine was missing a hot glue stick, which I think is a fantastic idea, and some flat webbing, a cord lock, maybe a couple other things off here, but no big deal. I'm happy with what it is, and the reviewers had the list of all my stuff, which is kind of newer. I think maybe several years ago, back in 2013, they had a couple more items. No biggie. So what I did, I liked the hot glue idea, and I actually have some hot glue sticks hanging around at home, so I went ahead and grabbed one, and it's easy enough to take one of those small ones, like a Walmart glue stick kit, pretty cheap. I mean, you'll get a whole bag of them, which is a ton, but all I did was cut one off so it can fit in the tube with these other guys right here. Kind of help you out on different repairs. I mean, you never know, you can take your lighter, heat that stuff up, and kind of dab it on maybe a hole in your tarp or poncho or something, and it might plug it up just fine. So you might need to glue something else together. It's a really good idea to have one of those little guys in there in your kit. Another thing I added is I got 2 key rings right here, just in case you might need them. And the other thing I did is I went ahead and got a sewing kit to repair clothing. And these are pretty cheap. You've probably seen these all over the place for a couple bucks. I went ahead and bought a couple big needles and maybe some curved needles to stick in there. as well as some other little things. You've got the space already. It doesn't weigh a whole lot to add some needles in there, maybe some special thread if you need it. So that's a really good thing to kind of add. It won't fit in the bag with everything else, but if you put all this in a Ziploc bag, you're good to go. And another thing you can do is go ahead and add some zip ties. So I got 2 really big ones, 2 medium ones, and then a bunch of small ones that work really well. So kind of get all those, this stuff minus the sewing kit will fit in this bag. Again, if you don't like the bag and you don't want the weight, you can toss this, throw everything in one little zippy, and you're good to go. So overall, it's a good kit. Highly recommend. You get a wide variety of stuff. Is it a complete full kit? No, but it does offer a lot of value for the price. So highly recommend it.